Hey guys, recently I had done comparison videos with the premise characters from Black Ops 3 to Blackout in BO4. When you look at the characters in Blackout, they don't look that bad, but then when you put them side by side and compare them to the Black Ops 3 graphics, yeah, they don't look as good. I wanted to see if that was the same situations for some of these zombie locations, and the first one I wanted to do is Tranzit. I wanted to see if there were any differences, if they actually made it better or maybe even worse. There are some parts of this diner that are a bit of an eyesore, and there's probably a reason for that, and I'll show you guys, but for the most part, they did actually improve Tranzit. The first big difference with the Blackout Tranzit and BO2 Tranzit is that the diner and the gas station are set really far apart. In Black Ops 2, they're really close together, and obviously there's a large road going between them on Blackout, so yeah, they had to move them further apart. So I did screenshots of the outside and the inside of the diner and also the gas station, and the first thing I checked out was the North Highway Diner sign. It is the identical model and the same letters are lit up in neon, and the big difference here though is that the one on Blackout is in high def. It looks really good. The one on the right is a little bit jagged, not as high definition. Now I did take the screenshots from the Xbox 360 version of Black Ops 2. I didn't do the PC version. It might be a little bit better. The next shot is the outside of the diner, and what's interesting is that, yeah, they're having to do the diner and this setting in broad daylight, and we're used to seeing this map in the dark with a lot of fog and kind of creepy looking. I've lined up this shot here so you can see it morphing from BO2 all the way to BO4 and how it looks now. There are a few subtle changes that they've made to the exterior of the building. They kept the same neon trim. The windows are no longer broken out but have blinds, and the staircase looks a little bit different. The railing is completely different on Blackout. Also, both of the front doors are completely different. The one on Blackout has a circle for a window, and that's normally not there on Tranzit. The next scene is looking directly at the gas station, and you can see how it changes from BO2 to BO4, and there are some subtle differences. They've obviously changed the door. The gas pumps look the same, and there's obviously not a lot of debris around the front area. Here's a side-by-side of that shot, and the one on Black Ops 2 has light posts, and it looks like they've removed those for Blackout. The models of the gas pumps look to be the exact same ones. They've definitely changed the shape and the size of the garage doors on the left. You can see that they're much larger on Blackout. I don't know exactly how level design works, but it seems like they didn't take like a cookie-cutter model from Tranzit and then throw it into Blackout. It looks like they've had to recreate some stuff. The next shot is of that shed that's next to the gas station that you have to use the turbine to open the doors, and it looks like for this building they have changed quite a bit. This building I don't think looks very good. They've taken out all the little details that make it look more realistic and fit into the environment. They've entirely changed the color of the shed. It went from a brown to like a grayish blue, and the doors are brown now instead of white, and I definitely don't like the color palette that they've chosen. I think it looks bad. If they would have just stuck with how it originally looked, yeah, it could have looked a lot better. In BO2, they added a realistic weathered look. It wasn't like in your face, bold colors like you're seeing on Blackout. I will have to say though, they did a good job on some parts of this portion of Tranzit, but some parts just look really bad and it's hard on the eyes. And I realize they have to make it a daytime transit. They can't use all of the fog and the low lighting to cover up some of the low detail, but I wish they would have used some more realistic colors. Like this orange paneling just doesn't look right whatsoever. Originally it looked like it had a reddish stained concrete wall, and now they've turned it to wood. It looked really good on Black Ops 2. The other thing they changed is that there's no buildable table in the back, obviously, and they replaced the mystery box with some shelving in front of the cash registers. I just like the style on Black Ops 2 where everything looks blended and fits in the environment. Everything on Blackout is just like, again, in your face, doesn't look like it meshes and it looks unnatural. Now there's a very good possibility that this is just the beta for Blackout and they could improve these graphics when the release actually happens on October 12th. Let's hope for that. But if not, it's really not a big deal. Here's a scene on the other side where the car is on that car lift, and this is the scene from Black Ops 2. Change it over to Blackout and you can see that the lift is still there, but they've removed the car. All the small details in Blackout Tranzit are the same for the Black Ops 2 version. and they've got all the hubcaps on the wall. They're exactly the same and in the same place. The car lift is not the same model, and the windows are in the same place. Obviously, there's no boards on them. The gas cans that are laying around the walls are in the same location as well. Here's a small table in the corner that has a cabinet, and it's next to one of the zombie spawn windows, and we'll morph it over to Black Ops 4, and you can see how bright, colorful it is, and everything is pretty much in the same spot. Here's a side-by-side of that scene, just showing you how closely they're trying to get with small details to actually match Black Ops 2 Transit. The next scene is behind the cash register, looking out at the gas pumps, and you can see the 2 cash registers there, and then I'll slowly change it to blackout. They've definitely added more detail to this area. You can see some cans that have been put on the shelves there, and there's like a tile trim around the bottom that's normally not there. Structurally, everything's the same, but it just looks entirely different. It doesn't even look like the same room. So the high detail's there, but the realistic aesthetics are not. Here's a scene leaving from behind the cash registers and going through this bathroom area to the outside. And here it's changing from BO2 to blackout, and this is the blackout version. And here's if you're standing on that doorway looking into the gas station behind the cash registers. That hole in the wall is still there. It's a little bit bigger. Obviously, no zombie boards. The differences in this room are that hole in the wall is much bigger, and the tile on the wall is now yellow, and it used to be like a gray tile. Now heading into the diner, this is where things get a lot better. This is where they actually improved things, and they have given stuff some higher definition, and it looks really good. It would be very cool to see this area with all the fog and the low lighting. I think that would just make it look awesome. Some of the changes they've made is the flooring looks much brighter and more colorful. I think that's what the one on Black Ops 2 is supposed to look like. I can't really tell because it's so dark, but they've changed the neon trim around the ceiling. It used to be a white neon, and now they've changed it to pink. Now checking out the clock on the wall, it is identical, set to the same time of 7:50, and it's just much clearer now. You can see all of the military time that's on it, and everything is really, really sharp. Here's a side-by-side of that, and you can see on the wall right there, they've changed the metal paneling. It looks really different now on Blackout. You can see that they added blinds instead of busted out windows. That booth on the right has the same tear. It's not identical, but it's damaged in the same way. Here's the corner with the Speed Cola and the MP5 on the wall in Black Ops 2, and we'll change it to Blackout. Obviously, they had to remove the Speed Cola machine and the gun on the wall. If you look closer, you can see how much they've improved this area. The Barstool looks a lot better. It's got a gold tone to it. They put some wood paneling underneath it, and the metal siding on the bar looks much better, way more realistic with high detail. So they have the potential here to make Transit look really amazing. If they kept the high detail, made it look realistic, put the fog in, low light, yeah, you got a remastered Transit that looks really cool. The next scene is a closer look at the booths, and you can see how destroyed these are. There's a lot of debris around them, and on Blackout, they cleaned them up quite a bit, put them back together. The tables are all in order. Whatever was on that table on the left, they actually left there, but you can see, yeah, everything's more colorful and much healthier looking. The next scene is a look behind the counter with all of the appliances, and they've definitely renovated this quite a bit. Got all new stovetops and everything. It looks like an episode of Restaurant Impossible. That's a show where they like come in and change everything out and restyle and renovate all of it. Here's a side-by-side showing how all of the stovetops are completely different. There's like a sink there. They changed that. It's all shiny and new. Got some new Vena hoods and everything. The next shot is of the menu that's above the counter, and this is something that I don't think I've ever fully read before, and in Blackout they've made it so clear. Yeah, it's really easy to read now. All of it's really basic diner food, no hidden little Easter eggs in here with like 115 or 935 numbers. Here's a side-by-side of the countertop, and you can see it's much cleaner looking on Blackout on the right. The only difference here is that the coffee makers actually look a lot older in the Blackout version. They made a small change to the other end of the diner. Normally there are two booths with a table and then a booth off to the right. On Blackout, they've moved that booth closer to the other two. And you can see they put blinds on all of these windows here on this side, and normally these are all completely busted out. On Blackout, you can get onto the roof, and you don't have to have any kind of special ladder for it. There's already one built in. It's bright yellow. You can't miss it. But this shot here really lets you see the difference and what they've done and how much detail they've added. That upper metal panel trim looks really nice. Then if you climb up onto the roof, you can see how different everything looks. The stairwell, the walls, everything is completely different. Just the structure is the same. Normally it has gray metal riveted panels, and they've changed it to almost a bluish beadboard covering everything. Here's a shot from the corner of the roof. The air conditioner units are in the same place. The vents have been removed, and the diner sign is identical. They've added a box location in the corner over there on Blackout. Normally that's not there on Black Ops 2. Well, I really had a lot of fun putting this video together and seeing the comparison and the differences. Initially, when I first seen Tranzit and Blackout, it didn't look good, but when you look closer, you can see that they have added more detail, and they've actually made it look better in some ways. This is in no way a fully fledged remaster, and what Treyarch is capable of. And again, it could be an issue of it was beta, or the fact that it is a large map and they had to dumb everything down. They are a AAA company, and we are on current gen. This is not old gen graphics anymore. So I was expecting a little bit more, but I'm sure they're doing the best they can with whatever the situation is in their offices. And I'll try to make a video of the comparison of Rook and also the boxing ring, so watch out for those videos. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you next video.